What's up, everybody? How you doing? Welcome back to Horror Hangout, the podcast. Got Steven back in the hot seat today. So welcome. Thank you for joining us. This is one we postponed because we wanted to go long form. So if you're not ready for like 3.5 hours, dude, bounce. No, I'm just playing. But like, this is probably going to hit like an hour, no problem. We're talking about House of a Thousand Corpses, Rob Zombie's first feature-length film, really the movie that started his whole career in film. I mean, his whole career started because he started making music videos and he wanted to make horror. So real quick, before we go into anything else, two things. One, this video is brought to you by Knife Crime Apparel, per usual at this point. If you're interested in a shirt, a hoodie, basketball shorts, sweater, canvas tote bag, whatever, man, my Instagram's in the description. You can hit me up and I'll do business. I get it shipped out same week. It's all made by me, screened by me, packed and shipped by me. So you're getting something that's done. Basically, it's artwork at this point, not just a t-shirt. Okay, so that out of the way, what I wanted to tell people was I found this out. I don't even know how I found it out. It was not on purpose, and I wasn't looking for this information for this show. It's just something that I happened upon. It might have been yesterday or the day before. So Rob Zombie almost didn't even do this movie. He almost did a whole different movie like 5 years earlier.
Huh, okay. What do you mean?
He almost did a Crow sequel. I can't remember what it was called, but it was
Crow 2?
No, there's already been like 3 of those.
Okay.
But it was called like it was a really strange name, and the only reason that I found out about it is I didn't click on it for Rob Zombie. I clicked on it because it was like, oh, the Crow movie that almost was, that never became. And I was like, huh, that's interesting. I like the first Crow, all right. So I clicked on it, and then they started talking about how Rob Zombie was the one that was pinned to do it, and I was like, or was to pin the script, and right. I was like, what? And then they told me the whole story about it, right? I just thought it was interesting because he was this close to never even doing this movie, and in my opinion, this is a modern classic horror movie. Now, you may not agree with that or like it or like the movie, but you know, a fair amount of people would agree with that statement. It's very subjective though, so it doesn't, it doesn't matter if we agree on that or not. That doesn't. I just thought it was interesting that he almost went a completely different direction, and he almost did a Crow sequel, and it would not have been a good movie, by the way, because the script was very, very weird. Turned out it wasn't even a script for the Crow, something he wrote years before. Yeah, interesting little fact there. Rob Zombie almost didn't even make this movie.
I find it interesting that it was 5 years before this, because
it was way before this, dude. It might
what
even
made
have been
him
more than that.
Take so long, you know what I mean, to actually like get pen to paper and put something on screen, you know what I mean?
Dude, that's really what it is, man. To get something written and then to get the green light, there's probably years in between those two things. And just to write something probably takes a year. Like, okay, not maybe not a year, but like imagine if we were to write a movie. It would take a year for us to
take me 5 years.
You know what I'm saying? Like it would take
Easily.
a long time.
Because I would be second guessing myself and questioning myself and rewriting everything unnecessarily.
Like, I have no idea how long a script is, but when I heard that the Crow script that he had was 190 pages, it felt to me like the guy thought that was a lot, and that didn't seem like a lot to me.
Yeah, because you're describing like, scenes and like the whole.
So I was thinking like 190 pages doesn't seem like and maybe I misunderstood the guy's tone of voice, but it sounded to me like he was thinking like that's a lot. And I was just like, that doesn't seem like a lot, but I have no idea. I don't read scripts. I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds like, to me, I agree with you. Like, I feel like I would write 195 pages of just dialogue.
Man.
You know what I mean?
Like Act 1.
Yeah. But when you see like it in movies and you see it's like this thick when they're like handing it to people.
Yeah.
That seems probably like about 80, 90 pages.
Sure,
right?
Maybe
if
even
you think
190
about it.
even, if you think about it. That depends on what it's like. No?
No, that's probably because think about a ream of paper. A ream of paper is like this thick, and that's 100 pages.
No, it's not. It's 500.
Is it?
Yeah.
I got one right here. Yeah, you're right.
That
is definitely awesome. 500.
I'm never right.
That was definitely 500 pages.
Dude, that was the best thing because you were like so bewildered when I said that. You're like, hold on, I got one right here.
I can't believe I go through that many pages of paper. Okay.
No, dude, that's what it is that we go through way more paper than we realize.
Yeah, that makes me rethink about my usage and my carbon footprint on this planet. You just blew my mind, bro.
That's amazing. So yeah, I mean, maybe they are about 190 pages. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like, that sounds right then.
A third of the size of that, you know. I just feel like it should be more than that. But yeah, I guess you're right. Looking at a ream of paper, they're not handing out reams of paper to people. So yeah, I guess they aren't 500 pages.
Right.
That's so crazy, bro. We just unlocked a mystery, folks. Welcome to Horror Hangout, dude, where we don't play games, son.
We just blow minds.
Blow minds and penises, dude. It's all
my
we do.
mind. Ooh. That's later, though. That's much later.
I was trying to catch you slipping, dude.
No, you got me. Start to make my mouth water, you know what I mean?
Oh, here we go. Oscar Mayer.
Anyway.
And this episode is brought to you by adamandeve.com.
Like every episode.
Do what?
Like every episode.
Yo, I'll be down with that.
It probably pays well.
Dude, based on my shirt designs, I'll be okay with that one.
True story.
Oh, dude. All right, well, let's start talking about this movie because I know you had a lot to say about it. So, anybody that's watching this, man, feel free to comment. But, dude, this is coming from my other channel, so don't take it personally. But I am so tired of people reading a title or hearing one sentence of something or seeing a photo that I put up and making a bunch of assumptions on something that I think, say, or believe. At least listen to us, man. But by all means, comment, give us your opinion. I want to know. But like, dude, I am so tired of people being hasty on the keyboard and like just making assumptions, and then they don't ever go back and correct it. They're like, I had guys yesterday, they were talking crap about something I said at the very beginning of a video, right?
Yeah.
If you make it 5 more minutes into that video, I was like, oh man, I think I might have misunderstood what I was getting into with this. I actually do like this. And then they just never went back. And so I'm assuming they never saw that much. They must have heard one little thing, got upset about it, got the little panties in a wad, little sensitive ass fans, and then bounced, dude. And they could have just waited a few minutes, like, oh yeah, see, this is how I felt about it too. But you know,
as soon as people get triggered, they just want to hit the keyboard.
Yeah, bro, it's
instantly.
Just, I mean, it is what it is. Do what you got to do, folks. But like, it is exhausting.
Yeah.
All right, so this movie, I don't even know when it came out, man. This is something I've been watching for a long time. It had to be 20 years ago, right?
I think it was exactly 2000.
Okay, so yeah, it had to be a long time ago, man. I saw it when I was young. I didn't see it in the theaters. I'm not going to front and act like I did. Back then, I didn't have the money to go to the theater often, so I would rent a lot of movies. So I probably saw this one as a rental from Blockbuster, I'd imagine. I didn't know what to think about it. And back then, the correlation that you're fixing to make, I didn't even touch that because I was young. I wasn't thinking on that level. I wasn't doing no podcast. I didn't have a channel. So like movies, I just watched them for just sheer entertainment value back then, nothing else. Now when I watch a movie, there's a lot more that I'm looking to accomplish with that viewing. So like tomorrow, I'm going to go see Halloween Kills. I'm already trying to figure out how I'm going to take notes in that theater. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So.
Well, when you put as much content out as you do, you know, you gotta come with some information. Obviously, you can't just get on the podcast and be like, "Oh, I thought it was dope," and then that's the end of your review.
This is why I have 3 different ways that I do movie talks. I do one with me and one other person. I do Shopcast, which is a weekly thing with the same people every week, and then I have my own review stuff that I do, which I do like often. I do it all the time, and they're like 10, 12-minute videos where I talk about this movie a little bit. I'll tell you what if I liked it or not, and then I give it a gore score, which I think is pretty cool and unique on its own. So, you know, I keep it. Everything's a little bit different, so people don't get bored. They have many things to choose from, and that's the way I like it because that's what I would like if I was a viewer. So, consistency is what I'm trying to nail down. I'm trying to nail down consistency because it is
it's a lot of work.
It
takes a lot of work.
But
I have a podcast myself. I mean, it's just hard to put out weekly episodes, just the way it is, you know.
Dude, to keep stuff interesting to talk about every week gets tough.
Yeah,
but
most certainly.
That's another episode right there, man. We could talk a whole episode about that.
Definitely.
But so when this one came out, I watched this movie probably 3 times before I even really understood what I was watching. I always just thought it was a cool movie. The cast in the movie is surprising. When you go back and look on it, you're like, wow, that's odd to have. Like, I wasn't surprised to see Bill Moseley in this movie. Wasn't surprised to see Sid Haig in this movie. I wasn't surprised to see Sherry Moon Zombie in this movie. But I was very surprised to see Rainn Wilson in this movie. And I was very surprised to see the other dude with the guy the guy with the beanie. He's on a talk show thing. He does like talk soup or something, man. I don't remember.
Oh, really? I saw it. He looked familiar to me too.
Yeah, he's on like that channel E. He's on like that kind of stuff.
Oh,
I mean, Chris Hardwick, I think his name is.
That's him?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Cool enough, dude. Though I'm not talking crap. I just was surprised to see him in this movie. The two young ladies, I recognized them from a couple of things. I couldn't tell you what. I just recognized their face. I just was like, wow, that's an interesting cast to put together for this kind of a movie, because it was a low budget, and this is like pre-Office Rainn Wilson. So
Sure,
like,
of course.
you know, but I don't know, man.
Chris Hardwick does. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. I'm just lost. He does that Walking Dead after show.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right. He's been doing that for many seasons. I think so. I mean, that's Chris Hardwick.
No, I gotta make sure that I'm talking about the same person now. Hold on.
Yeah.
I don't want to like.
I mean, does it really matter? I mean, is somebody going to be triggered? Is somebody going to be triggered by that?
Probably. I mean, I'm triggered by it already. It is the same guy. Yeah, gone, bro. He got a baby face in that show, in that movie.
Yeah, he does.
Wow,
I thought he looked familiar.
That's so cool, though. It came out in 2003.
Oh, really? I thought it was flat 2000. Okay.
Man, that makes me wonder why I didn't pay more attention to it. Like why I didn't grasp some of the things. Because back in 2003, I was like
20.
I was pretty deep into horror, man. That's about the time I put out the Grave Robbers album, and like that's what I was doing, man. But anyways, whatever. So okay. So I want you to start talking, because I want to start regurgitating things that I've talked about 1,000 times about this movie. You've never seen this before until we started talking about it. This whole journey started. If you guys want,
I've seen it before.
Oh, you had seen it before.
One time.
Okay, my bad. I misunderstood that. Well, regardless, this comment still stands. If y'all want to see something interesting, go back and watch all of my horror hangout episodes with Steven on it from the very beginning. I think you were like the first or second episode I did. He is watching these movies either for the first time or for like the second time, most of them the first. And it started with like Texas Chainsaw 2 out of all things. So just, it's an interesting journey. You'll get to hear a lot of opinions from somebody that isn't as knowledgeable in horror. So some of the things that he says, I counter it with like a standard horror reply, and he's like, oh, I never would have thought about that. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of what the general community thinks. He's like, oh, because he's looking at it from a completely different vantage point, which I think is kind of amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome to be in this position, honestly, because I feel like I'm on like the side of the millennials or Zoomers here, where like you run into one of them, they're like, oh, I've never seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and you're like, what? Oh my god, and that's how I am. It's like I'm not into the genre. I haven't ever been into the genre. I'm starting to appreciate it more now that we're doing stuff like this. And honestly, the main reason why I'm doing this is to get exposed to this stuff. It's obviously a genre that is not going anywhere. It's obviously a genre that's only growing and getting more popular and having more eyes and more, top-notch directors, or even brand new directors coming out of their shells and seeing stuff. So it's probably the only mass consumed genre that have so easy access to entry-level access to it.
That's true.
Which is kind of awesome from an artist's perspective.
There is a flip side to that coin, though. A lot of people get pigeonholed into horror roles when they start doing one. If they do it, they do it well, but they can't quite nail another audition like soon after.
Sure.
They get like, look at Barbara Crampton. I don't know if you know who she is or not, but she did oh man, not Dead Alive, but oh man, give me a second. It's on the tip of my tongue.
She's an actor, or she's the director?
She's an actress, dude. And she did she was just in a movie that I'm fixing to review called Jacob's Wife. Okay. And she also did, oh come on, what the hell is that? She was in Chopping Mall, which I think is awesome.
That sounds awesome.
No, dude, it's a terrible movie.
Yeah, but like terribly awesome?
In my opinion, yes.
Oh yeah, I like that. If it's supposed to be terrible, like
she was in Reanimator.
Okay. So
like that movie's from '85, dude. It's like she did. I couldn't get it out of my brain. I had it right here, and it was just like, nah, I'm good. I'm not going anywhere. She was in Reanimator in '85. It's 2021, dude, and she just put out Jacob's Wife. She has consistently been in horror movies her whole career. Now I think she's probably done something other than horror, but it's nothing of note that I can recall.
Sure.
And so, but when you say Barbara Crampton, I immediately think of like 7 or 8 different horror movies. Well, like that's cool and all. I like that, but can you imagine being somebody in that field that you get pigeonholed into something and you don't really want to be?
Yeah, I mean, from the outside in, you're like, oh, well, at least she got to be in movies and she made it. But at the same time, like, if you're an artist and you're trying to like show off your craft, you don't want to just be a one-trick pony, right?
I have read a quote from her of saying something along the lines of like, yeah, I got stuck into horror and I wasn't planning on it. Mm-hmm. And then there's another flip side. Her flip side is at least I got all the work I got. And the community fucking loves her. Mm-hmm. The horror community loves Barbara Crampton. So like, again, there's going to be yins and yangs across all of these circumstances. And while she got to act, she didn't get to do everything she wanted, but she's part of a community that absolutely adores her. So like, it really depends on if you're a glass half full kind of person or a glass half empty. If you're a glass half full, you may be like, dang it, I didn't get to quite do what I wanted to, but I got to be adored by all these fans. Everybody loves me. I get to go to these conventions. I can make a living off of not even making movies. So I can just go to conventions and sign autographs and meet people all day.
Which I'll take that life.
Man, who you telling, bro? And I've seen some people that are jaded from that and some people that are appreciative, and she seems to be one of the appreciative type. But
yeah, but so like along those lines of what I was saying about having that entry point, that not only is it a good low entry point for people to be artistic and still get consumed by mass quantities of viewers, I think it's also really forgiving.
Yeah.
I think it's the only genre where you can really put out some real crap and still get loved for it.
I love crappy movies.
Yeah, whether you intended to make it crappy or it became crappy, it's kind of irrelevant. You made something. Yeah. but like crappy good. Not just
it's just crappy crap.
Not just complete crap piece of shit. I mean like crappy and then ends up being like really revered and loved by everybody.
WNUF Halloween special, my guy.
Man, dude, you want to watch a video? I think that was the first video. You want to watch the video where somebody like completely flips it live on air? That was me. Because at first I'm like, why the fuck did Randall make me watch this? And by the end of our discussion, I was like, dude, I love this movie.
Dude, my friend at the theater last Friday, he was like, hey, Randall, you like this kind of stuff. Have you ever seen this before? And he hands me a Blu-ray. And it was a Kino Lorber special edition of WNUF Halloween special. I almost stole it from him, bro. I was like, where did you get this?
How did you not take it?
Oh, man, I like him. He's a nice guy.
Oh.
I know. If it was a little kid or something, I would have just took it.
That's a lame excuse.
But, yeah, man, I'm going to have to cop me a Blu-ray of that one.
So there's like a director's cut of that?
I don't know what it is, but it's Kino Lorber put it out. It's got to have some special stuff on there.
I have to see this. So anyway, yeah. What I was saying about the genre is it's something that's not for me, but I am learning to appreciate it a little bit more. And as we do some more of these, you know, it really kind of started out with Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. And it's actually a movie that I really actually end up loving. And I know that that's blasphemous, and I get it.
No, dude, people love that movie.
But I think that it's better than the original. I absolutely think it's better than the original. There are so many beats in that movie that I think that are above and beyond the original. And the original is just a classic artistic style cult classic at this point.
So good.
But number 2 actually has some really good, like, film, like really good acting and characters. And if it wasn't for like the fact that it all comes off the rails for the last 20 minutes, that movie's, in my opinion, is a very high grade horror movie. But when I watched that movie, it made me remember the first time and the only time I ever saw House of a Thousand Corpses. I saw it once and I absolutely hated it.
We finally got there, folks. My bad. I apologize. I won't shut up. So people are gonna.
I think that one was my fault, but I hated House of a Thousand Corpses. And mostly because I wasn't in the genre. I wasn't into just census killing and freak show families. I just wasn't into it.
Yeah.
Now that I've seen it for the second time, I have some different opinions, but it's just so nuts how we watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 and Nothing But Trouble and Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1 and House of a Thousand Corpses. And there is so much common thread between those movies.
And the Texas Chainsaw remake.
And the remake. And it's like, there is so much common thread in these movies. And it makes me think, like, what's the, like, almost conspiracy level, like, what's the connection? Like, where does this terrible bombed comedy with John Candy and Dan Aykroyd play into this whole weird triangle. But I will say that upon watching it the second time, I got much more enjoyment out of it.
Yeah.
I think that it is a very enjoyable horror film. I think that Rob Zombie, and I haven't seen anything else that he's done, but I think that based on this movie, that he seems like the guy at film school that just tried to do too much. And the teacher gave a B on the final project, and he was blown because he thought he created a masterpiece. There's so many like weird, unnecessary cuts and splices of different things into it that just took away from what I thought was actually a pretty decent horror film.
So real quick, I have to interject right here because
yeah,
there's a reason why that's the case. The reason is this is his first movie, and he went straight from making music videos to this movie, and you can tell because all the little cuts are music video
cuts. You're 100% right.
That's all they are. Now either you like them or you don't, but that's what they are. Yeah.
It just had such a film student vibe to me, like just trying way too hard, and just let the story be the story. Let these actors do their thing. I thought his wife, I totally disagree with that.
Really? Yeah. No, I'm not saying it's any better than you think it is, but I don't see it's a try hard thing. I look at it from the standpoint of inexperience, and it's coming from a guy that is such a fan of the genre. I don't think he was like, I don't think there was arrogance in it. I think there was ignorance in it. It was, I don't really know how to make this movie, but I know what I want it to look like because I know what I love, and this is what I love. It's just like making my when I make my designs and things, dude. I've had to toss a couple of different shirt designs because when I looked at them, I loved them, and then like a week later, I realized that I had directly copied somebody without realizing I had done it. Well, I was like, oh no, I can't put this out because the person that I copied, I know that person. I just didn't realize I was doing it.
Okay, so then how come Rob Zombie didn't wait a week after he made this movie and look at it and go, oh shit, I just copied Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Because I don't think he did. It's not the same movie.
Oh my god. So this might be
You're missing the biggest fucking thing. There's no chainsaw. So he didn't copy it.
There is and the chainsaw's very unnecessary in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It
I know,
doesn't even need to be.
I'm just saying, like, it's not.
But that's a good point, though. Like, you know, Texas Chainsaw Massacre's got a chainsaw on it for sure, and the guy's holding it over his head and revving it a lot. But technically, the movie could have absolutely been made without a chainsaw, or nothing would have changed.
Just a spork. Like,
yeah, exactly. Hey, Texas Spork Massacre sounds.
Dude, I would watch that 1,000 times a day.
I agree with you. So I cannot believe how derivative this movie is, and how when I brought it up to you the first time we brought it up, you had never heard of that, and you pretty much told me that like it's not really a common feeling in the community.
I don't hear it now. Do people think that and not talk about it much around me? Sure, that's a possibility, but I've never heard a single person say it's a ripoff of Texas Chainsaw.
I mean, that blows my freaking mind.
Now, have I heard that there's some common themes in it? Of course I have. But if you look, this is the way I look at it. I look at it like Rob Zombie got an opportunity to make one movie. One. Mm-hmm. And so he was like, okay, if I can make only one movie, so if you were given the opportunity to make one comic book, just one, you could have one, let's say it could be one trade size paperback book.
Yeah, I get one shot at this.
Yeah.
Okay.
How many things would you bite? Because you were like, okay, look, if I don't get another chance at this, I want people to know what I care about.
Fair.
And you wouldn't necessarily be thinking about like, oh, I'm ripping it off. You'd be thinking of, I'm paying homage to these people that I love and adore and respect and appreciate and need.
Okay, it's fair. I agree with that.
He wasn't supposed to make all these movies, dude. He wasn't. To my understanding, Devil's Rejects was never in the plans. Like that never was going to happen. It was never supposed to be a movie. This was supposed to be his movie. And so he had one chance. So we got Bill Moseley in it, which right there, I mean, you got to have to do something with Texas Chainsaw if you got Bill Moseley in your movie.
Okay.
So then he's like, okay, well, let's make a movie like all it does is it mimics his favorite movies. the thing is that the underlying theme of it is a family, so you naturally associate it with Texas Chainsaw.
Okay.
This movie's got just as much in common with Frankenstein as it does Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
No, see, that's where I disagree, because I've got a list of 20 things that I wrote down that are pretty much direct copies from either.
I could go back and make a list of 20 things that has in common with Frankenstein. That's my point.
Which is what, the original like horror story kind of?
No, right? I'm saying that's one of his favorite movies.
Oh, okay.
I know that's one of his favorite movies. I've heard him say it many times.
Okay.
He wants to remake,
I don't know what is there several versions of Frankenstein? I don't know. It's like from the 30s.
There's lots of versions of Frankenstein out there.
But which is the one that's his? The original, like from the 30s?
Yeah, he's talking about like the original Frankenstein.
Black and white.
Yeah, black and white, old school, okay. Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein. So like, you've never seen that movie probably, right?
Me, no. Absolutely
See,
not.
I have. And so when I see this movie, I see just as much in common with a bunch of different movies.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I see just as much in common with his music videos. Mm-hmm. So it's not that he was intentionally doing anything. I don't think it was intentional at all.
And I agree with you, because you said it earlier. You said, I did something and I thought it was awesome, and then I look back on it a week later and I go, oh shit. I absolutely think that's what happened. I think he made a movie, and then if you would have stopped and watched it for a second, I'm pretty sure that he showed a couple of people and they're like, oh, this looks really familiar. Because here's the thing. How the hell did I immediately watch Texas Chainsaw 2 and associate with House of Thousand? I mean, immediately.
You've seen 3 horror movies.
Okay. But that's
that's my point. So when you watch a horror, when you watch a horror movie with the lack of experience in that genre that you've got, you only have to flip through a couple of things in your Rolodex before you go, okay, I've checked all the boxes. Yeah, it's pretty original. Me, I have to go through thousands of movies before I can tell you whether or not something was original. So every movie that I watch has something in common with every other movie I've ever watched. I don't
having things in common and having like themes and formulas
every
are
movie
one
that
thing.
I watch rips off every movie that I watch. There is almost no such thing that's original. So give me an example of a quick plot that you could come up with that's original. You can't.
No, I can't. And
none of them exist.
And that also goes the whole thought of there is no really original thought, original idea.
Because like, okay,
blah,
here's another example. Friday the 13th is a long running series, right? It's been around since the 80s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard of a movie called Hatchet?
Yeah, of course. They have like 3 of them.
Yeah, it's got the same guy that played Jason in it, Kane Hodder.
Mm-hmm.
It is a direct ripoff of Friday the 13th, right?
Mm-hmm.
You never hear anybody complain about it.
Yeah, and
it's way better.
But you're talking about wait, what's way better? You're saying Hatchet's better than Friday the 13th?
By a fucking mile.
Really? Okay, I don't know. I don't see.
Way.
I'm pretty sure I saw Friday the 13th, the original.
No,
pretty
Friday the 13th is fine. It's fine. It's needed too. We need that movie, but like, I would rather watch Hatchet any day of the week. But it's a direct ripoff, dude. And so like, I don't understand.
But I don't know. But yeah, okay. No, the complaint is like, I think it boils down to everything that you just said, that I don't have experience in the genre.
Yeah,
I think you're right, because I'm going down this list here, and I guess you're right. I can go down every one of these, and you can name. We could pick a random movie out of your collection behind you there, and I can go down these 17 points.
Okay.
And you can look at this movie and you go, yep, check. Yep, that's in this movie. Yep, that's in this movie. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, more than likely, yes.
Then
that any number of those points will be in any number of these movies.
Well, then my argument's completely invalid, and I agree.
Not really. But it's because the argument is very subjective. So there's not really an argument so much as just a conversation. So your points aren't invalid. I just find it hilarious that you jumped to that conclusion and you were so like I don't know the word, like maybe appalled. You're like, oh my god, like you were so like shocked, and I wasn't, and you were like, how are you not shocked? I'm like, how are you shocked?
And if it's a B movie or it's a movie that nobody talks about and it's a direct ripoff, that's one thing. But like this movie, and me and you are similar in age. This movie was talked about like it was, one of these classic horror movies of our time.
I feel like it is.
Okay, so there you go. So that's why I think that when you hold something in that high regard, I don't think anybody says Hatchet is. I mean, you like it, and I'm not saying I'm not against anything.
Well, Hatchet's like in my top 10 or 15
of horror movies of all time.
Yeah, Probably top 20. Top 20.
Wow.
Let me calm down. Top 20.
But I don't. Okay, well then never mind. I guess another one of my arguments is valid because I
like slashers. That's all it boils down to.
My point is, I don't think anybody's going around and saying Hatchet is a defining horror movie.
No, it's definitely not
on
the same level as House of a Thousand Corpses at all.
So that's the part where I found it to be. How can you be so revered, and yet, in my opinion, so derivative? That is the only question.
Let's start tackling your points, because I want to know what points you've got.
Well, now it's funny. Now that I'm reading, I'm like, well, shit. Fuck, I don't even know if I want to go through this. But
I do, because that's.
Well, of course you do, because you're going to be right.
No. First and foremost, dude, I am rarely right. Let's get that out there in front of everything.
You're already right about the Rima paper.
I forgot all about that already.
All right. You get to enjoy the victory all over again.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, no, because I am curious, because, dude, here's the thing. I'm open 100% to being proven wrong. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. I'm wrong all the time, because this is just a conversation.
You've diffused this whole thing without even me starting, which is beautiful, which is masterfully done. Bravo. But it's funny. You hit on the exact same. You already mentioned the very first one, and it's the obvious one. And this is not like, well, this is the clincher. Crazy Family. Okay. And you could probably sit here and name 15 movies without even thinking about it, of movies that involve crazy families.
There's a lot of them.
Okay, cool. There's one. Cannibal. Now, I know that they didn't really bring that up in House of a Thousand Corpses, but it's pretty obvious. It's heavily implied.
Yeah.
Okay, so with cannibalistic ways.
So hold on real quick. Before you go any further, let me look up something real quick.
Okay.
Do you know what year Texas Chainsaw came out? Like 78, something like
73?
that? 73?
Yeah.
Hold on. Let's see. Oh, dang, 74. Okay, hold on one second. You know what I'm looking up right now?
What?
Okay, you don't know. I was just... Okay, so The Hills Have Eyes was the one...
You're trying to find out if that was if Hills Have Eyes was a direct ripoff from the same thing?
I was trying to see if it came out before Texas Chainsaw. I couldn't remember. They're very close. They're 174, 177.
Wait, Hills Have Eyes was...
1977.
1977?
You do know that that's a remake, right? Like you're thinking.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Wes Craven did the
Holy
original
shit.
Hills Have Eyes.
Well, shit, was it any good?
I like it. I watched it last night.
Oh, damn. You blew my mind on this. That's how obvious, how new to the genre I am. I had
That's
no
why
idea
I like talking with you about it, because I love talking to people that don't really have a lot of familiarity with it, because it's kind of like just getting to experience it all over again myself.
Now I want to watch Hills Have Eyes, because that sounds awesome, from 1977.
It's different. It's different.
You mean from the remake, or just different in general?
It's just different in general. I like it though. That's another pair we should watch at some point. We should watch those two together and compare the two, because they are different enough, but they're both the same movie. But the newer one's way more pretentious, I guess would be the word, but it's not an artsy fartsy film, but like the way they go about their characters are more pretentious.
Mm-hmm.
And the old one is much more it's almost more realistic in the older one.
Oh, okay.
But I like them. But yeah, I was just curious. You said, as soon as you said cannibalism, that was the first movie I think of when you say cannibalism isn't Texas Chainsaw, it's Hills Have Eyes. And that movie came out 3 years later. So
right,
that right there in itself is kind of mind blowing, because Texas Chainsaw is one of my favorite movies of all time, like horror or not. But if you put in The Hills Have Eyes, that's the one I think of when I think cannibals.
Interesting. I mean, cannibals is definitely a heavy theme in Chainsaw Massacre, and I think it's just heavily implied, even though you not really see it here. All right, so I got Gas Station. I know that it's probably an eye-rolling thing, but I mean, the gas station is a pretty symbolic thing in both of these. The gas station, and it turned out, like, if you don't get the final scene in House of a Thousand Corpses, that Sid Haig is almost like... Okay, so this is another reason why I think Rob Zombie kind of missed the mark and could have just like let it be. Obviously, we don't get Devil's Rejects, which I thought was a by far better film, because I have seen that movie. I know. I enjoyed Devil's Rejects. I really did, because I hated House of a Thousand Corpses so much. When I saw Devil's Rejects, I'm like, okay, that's at least a little bit better.
Man,
but think about it. I like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 more than I like 1, and both of those have a lot of common themes.
That's true.
Think about it. It's a sheriff that gets the revenge.
Yeah.
That's what happens in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. That right there is a mind-blowing coincidence, and you have to admit that you cannot just glaze over that.
No, that was probably intentional.
Okay.
That had to be, dude. You can't. That has to be intentional.
Well, I agree that it's so obvious, but I don't know. I don't know if it was intentional.
Yeah, I don't know
because
either,
that was
sure
the
does sound
whole
funny
movie.
to think it might have not been.
So I have that in the notes further down.
So the gas station thing. Here's the thing. That was started with Texas Chainsaw, yes, but that is a horror movie trope that has been throughout horror the whole way. Because when you said gas station, I didn't think of either of those two movies. I thought of a movie called Splinter. Have you ever heard of that movie?
It sounds familiar, but
it's a small movie, dude. And I've also thought of one called Burn.
From the 80s?
My brain went to two different movies, and neither of them were these big movies. They were these two indie movies that I've seen that are both within the last 10 years. And like, do what?
What year was Splinter?
Dude, 5 years
recently?
Ago? Recently.
Oh, okay.
And so like, the gas station thing, while it was a little on the nose in that movie, it's only because it's on the nose in all of them. Gas stations, like when you have a movie that's about a road trip, something always has to happen at the gas station. If you had a horror movie that was about some kind of road trip and something bad didn't happen at a gas station, everybody would lose their minds. They'd be like, "What are you doing?"
And that's what I said.
Gas station thing.
And that's why I rolled. I said, I know that's an eye roll thing. The only thing about both of those gas stations is that like you've got the cannibalism probably being served there, which is probably another common theme.
So how do you think it was served at the?
I just thought Captain Spaulding's fried chicken was human flesh. I don't know.
Oh no, it looked like chicken. It was not. There was no way that was.
Sure,
flesh.
It did, but I don't know I don't really know if you can't make something look like chicken in the human body. I don't know.
Nah.
Okay.
That's
so it was definitely chicken.
It was definitely chicken.
Okay.
Probably disgusting chicken. Probably not the kind of stuff you want to eat. But yeah, it was not. I don't think that was.
He was real proud of it though.
He sure was, wasn't he?
Yeah. I liked his character. I really wish he wasn't part of it because his character was great. Because the entire time you're watching that movie, you're thinking, "Oh, this guy is fucking nuts, and he's definitely some piece of shit killer." But if he turned out not to be, that would have been. I thought that would have been an absolutely awesome twist. That he was actually like the savior in the movie,
and he's just like some old grumpy asshole.
Yeah, he's just some old grumpy asshole that likes to dress like a clown and makes good chicken and likes curiosities. Like there's definitely people out there that are like that. I think
he's probably the best part of the entire series.
No doubt. That's not even a fucking question. If he would have been in that movie about another 10 minutes, maybe my opinion changes about that movie completely. All right, so the carnival theme, another thing, and it's the thing that we see.
Carnival theme.
So remember, first of all, I had to throw it out there. It's also in Nothing But Trouble. But in the second movie, the whole thing was carnival themed.
Oh, well, I'm not taking it from the second movie. You said Texas Chainsaw Massacre, not Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Right.
Those are different movies.
Obviously, if he loves Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1, and I'm saying that it's being derivative.
Yeah, but dude, I know a lot of people that will not even watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 that love the first one. So
I'm not saying he loved it, but he definitely watched it. Right? Let's be honest.
I mean, yeah, I guess, but I mean, again, carnival thing, dude. You're talking about dozens and dozens of movies from the same era that all have. Dude, look at the movie Toby Cooper, the same guy that made Texas Chainsaw Massacre, made a movie called Funhouse.
Yeah,
it's a fucking carnival movie, the whole thing.
Yeah, and then they both have the murder ride, number 2, and
wait. Oh, you mean in Texas Chainsaw 2?
Right. They both have the murder ride, right? Picking up a hitchhiker, that's part of the family. Once again, another common theme, I would imagine.
That's a pretty common theme in horror, just in general.
Right. Yeah. But the hitchhiker was part of the family and was used as. Now, in the first one, that person wasn't used as bait.
No, the first one was like a coincidence more
than
anything.
But also set the tone, and also
yeah, and then baby was definitely like
bait,
a lure.
Sure.
Let's reel him in.
And then of course in the remake, the same thing happened with she wasn't part of the family. Well, we don't know. Maybe she was. I don't remember.
I don't think she was.
They never explain it.
No, but she definitely blows her head off.
Yeah, she definitely set the tone.
Yeah, for real.
Going forward on that one. Creepy rundown houses. Of course, that's not a thing, but I had to write down every coincidence that I saw. Okay, nonverbal beast of a man.
Hills Have Eyes. Again, you're going with stuff that's in every horror movie.
But it's not every horror movie.
Okay,
this dude also had a
50-50
leather thing on his face, who I also loved in the movie, by the way.
I mean,
did you see the cereal? The name of the cereal that he was eating?
Nuh-uh.
It was Agatha Crispies.
That's amazing. See, that's the kind of stuff that I like that Rob Zombie does.
He was one of my favorite parts of the movie. I know.
So, I mean, he has a leather thing on his face, but he doesn't have human skin on his face.
I know, but literally leather face.
That's like a tip of the cap, if you want to call it that.
It's just sometimes when the tips of the caps and themes and everything comes together, it's just a little overwhelming. That's all.
I think it is if you want it to be.
That's true. If you're looking for it.
Because I don't give a shit about any of it. So far, none of it has made me say anything other than, yeah, it's in every movie I watch.
Grandpa.
Okay.
Grandpa was a big part of both of those movies.
Well, I feel like Bill Moseley's character was more or less the guy that the grandpa was in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The grandpa in House of a Thousand Corpses was like a side piece. He was like entertainment. He wasn't the ringleader. Bill Moseley was. Yeah, but
even in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, he's the ringleader just by name, but he's a very side character in the movie.
So I want everybody that's watching this, I really do, and I'm not saying this for any other reason than just sheer curiosity. I would love to know where y'all stand on this stuff. Do you think that he's got very valid points that make it a less enjoyable movie or whatever, or do you think that I'm right and that it's like kind of not really a thing? Like, so far none of it has really struck me as being very weird, odd, or disrespectful, or copying, or to me it just seems like he's using tropes. That's what they are. They're tropes for a reason.
Lone female survivor wanders on the road.
I mean, that's,
once again, just a common theme, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then of course I have my biggest one is a sequel to Sheriff Gets Revenge, and there's a cave-in both of those movies.
Wait, what?
Cave-in
in House of a Thousand Corpses?
Yeah.
Remind me, what happens?
I don't know. The stuff starts to cave in, like in House of a Thousand Corpses. Like, remember? Yeah, remember like she's trying to escape and she's wandering around, and then like Dr. What's his name is down there in like the cellars.
Dr. Satan.
Yeah, Dr. Satan's in the cellars with the doing the surgeries, and there was what would you call that thing that was chasing her?
I don't know.
Like a reanimated corpse, I guess, kind of, right?
Kinda.
But remember, like in Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
yeah. I know what you're talking about now.
And remember, there's a cave-in. In Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, they're running through a bunch of random tunnels.
So I really think that a lot of this, if you were to be able to get Rob Zombie in a room by himself and get him to some truth serum and be like, bam, how much of this was intentionally done to resemble something else? I guarantee you his answer would blow your mind, because it would probably be something like, well, I did, and it would probably be things that we're not even talking about, that he's like, I did this, and this, because I wanted to resemble this, and then all the other stuff, I had no idea resembled anything until I heard it 17 times from all my friends, and then at that point it was too late. So I believe that 100%. I believe most of it wasn't intentional, and there was some tipping of the caps. I think that's the part that drives me nuts about people, is I hear them say, where you're coming from is like, no, I'm not saying it's intentional, but it's very much a ripoff.
Yeah.
And I'm saying I don't agree that it's a ripoff, but I know people that are going to say both. They're going to say it's a ripoff and it was intentional.
No, I don't believe it.
And I just don't understand how you could think that. This dude didn't just go and, but this is a.
No, I don't think it was intentional. I really don't. I think that he just, like you said, was a student, was an addict, was a lover of the genre. But I think that he ended up pulling way too many themes from one franchise. That's all I'm saying.
Well, hold on one second. I'm Cannibal. Well, okay, so if there wasn't so many other movies that had these exact same themes in them,
yeah,
I would 100% be like, yeah, you're right. But I just can't help but think that, like, there's dozens and dozens of, like, really great popular horror movies that are the same.
Yep.
I mean,
like I said, you debunked
like
it before I started. What do you want me to say?
No. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find a way to maybe where maybe I can argue with my own points, because I don't care about that. Proving right or wrong doesn't matter to me. This is just a conversation. But like when you look at something like Halloween, I'm more offended that they give us the same fucking movie 5 times and think we're so dumb we're not going to realize it.
Right.
At least this one had different people in it, and no Michael Myers, no Leatherface. It had other people with other names.
Right.
I'd rather have the same movie done by 10 different people with 10 different groups and slightly different every time than the same company bring me the same movie 5 times and go, here you go.
And trying to sell you something different each time.
Yep. So
but
like
it's the same old shit. Yeah, I get that.
So I can see your points. I think they just don't bother me as much as what it is. I think that's really what it is. They just don't bother me. I see them for what they are and I go, okay, yeah, I can accept that. And that's where I think the fork in the road's at. Okay, here's the similarities. Do you accept this and does it bother you, or do you accept this and you don't care? And then you go, oh, it bothers me. Well, you go this way. Oh, it doesn't bother me at all. Well, then you go this way, and then because so far on your list of stuff, some of it's a little more on the nose, but most of it's pretty common in, I would say, the majority, as in 51% or more horror movies. So.
Real quick, I just found an article. I don't know why I didn't look this up earlier. It's on WordPress. I don't know. I think WordPress is just something that just has a bunch of contributors. But the article is called House of a Thousand Chainsaws. And then the headline kind of is, the film is an acid trip, gore, monster, and pure mayhem. And while House of a Thousand Corpses draws inspiration from a large number of sources, the most important and influence is Tobe Hooper's 1986 film, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Huh. So this article actually gives it more in common with number 2 than number 1, which
it might even
I
be
find
right.
surprising. But as I'm telling you these things, but anyway, this entire article is about the similarities between those two movies. So
that's a good article. I wouldn't mind reading that.
Yeah.
But
remember, I didn't read any of this shit. I didn't get influenced by any of this shit. It was just something that I saw and I was like, oh God. But also you got to remember, I watched these very close to each other. Actually that's not true, because I saw it. No, I take that back. I saw Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 and then thought about House of a Thousand Corpses immediately.
Yeah.
And I hadn't seen House of a Thousand Corpses for 20 years.
I'm going to send you a picture. I got to find the right one.
Is it like the ones you always send me?
No, those ones I'll send you later when it's closer to bedtime.
Okay.
I love how people probably like, oh wait, he didn't start laughing. He might not be joking. I'm not.
No, I got him to prove.
I'm gonna send you a picture of a shirt that my friend made, and he's my favorite artist, and he made this shirt over 20 years ago, and I want you to look at it, and I want you to think about my shirts. Okay. And the reason I'm sending you this is because I didn't even realize what I was doing until it had been done. And does it make you think that my shirts are any less cool? Would you care about my business any less? Do you think I work any less hard? Do you think that I'm doing anything like?
God, that's a terrible shirt.
Why?
Am I reading it wrong? It's a razor blade and it says "give up."
I just think you're taking it too seriously. I mean, I think it's hilarious.
Right?
I mean, if you're weak enough to give up, go ahead. Here's the razor blade. I don't know what to tell you. Dude, suicide and me don't have a very good relationship, because I think that I look at it from a different standpoint, and I think you're leaving people behind and you're being a weak pussy.
No. I can't argue any of that. I'm sorry. I can't.
But
anyway,
I also feel for people that are dealing with depression and things. My point is that I didn't even realize that I had like a very similar aesthetic. Mm-hmm. Now my stuff's different, but it's clearly representative of the fact that I follow that guy's career. And I have.
So you have seen this before,
bro. I own that shirt.
Oh,
like
I didn't know this was.
He's a friend of mine that I've known for 20 something years. Now, when you start to look at our very initial thing, his razor blade, my butcher knife, right? There's some similarities there. And then you start to look at, like, when I start showing you, like, if I showed you 25 shirts of his and 25 of mine.
And then you got the font a little bit, obviously, and you got like kind of the gritty.
But see, that's a trope of streetwear, and so that's something that I did without realizing I was doing it. But when you look at, like,
example,
if you take 20 different designs of ours and you lay them out, they'll do this. They go like this.
Fair enough.
Because his designs go much more into like industrial metal, heavy machinery. Mine goes into like just street art, like strictly that. It's like punk rock horror movie aesthetic, and so they start to veer off. Now, initially, I was inspired by that. Didn't even realize I was that inspired by it. I didn't even know it, dude. Like, I sent him a picture of my fucking logo. Do you know how embarrassing that?
Did he say something?
He said he liked it. He was being cool about it, man. But I didn't even think about how similar it was to his. Now, it's not, dude. I can show you one of each of ours, and there's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna go, "Yeah, I don't really think they're that similar," because they're not, but they are. You know, they're not, but they are.
I mean, you couldn't give a better example than you just gave me. I don't know what else to say. I'm done. That's it. You won. I know it wasn't a competition. I know you weren't trying to win, but you proved your point 4 times over, and I'm just sitting here being stood corrected. That's it. That's all I can say about it.
That's not really what I was aiming to do, obviously. I know. But like, yeah, since I had that example at the ready, because it's something that happened to me recently, I was like, oh, I should just show him this, because that's how I felt. Whenever I saw it, I felt like, oh no. Yeah. And I almost didn't go with it, but I know that if I showed Give Up my stuff and said, you know what, I think it's too similar to yours, I'm not going to do it. He would go, dude, no, just do it. Right. He's going to go, do you think you're going to affect my business at all by you making your own gear? And I would go, well, I mean, I don't know. He's going to go, bro, I'm a legend already. And Toby Hooper would have been like, bro, just make your movie. I'm a legend already. What are you going to do to me? You're going to put more, people are going to go watch my movie now because of your movie.
You know, it's funny. I think that actually brings this whole conversation full circle, because at the beginning of the conversation, I talked about the horror genre, and I said that it's this net of a net of artists that get to enter this genre and get to see eyes on it. And it's like that attitude from Toby to Rob would have been like, do your thing, bro. Like, I support you. And that's what you're saying the community that you're in is. Yeah, that's awesome. Like, it's you really fucking brought this thing full circle in an absolutely beautifully put together argument, and I think you should be proud of yourself.
Well, I appreciate that. I try to, like, first off, I want my show to be interesting.
Yeah.
But I also want to have my friends on here because we can talk about stuff, and because this same conversation could have easily been an argument with somebody I didn't know.
Right.
You know, if I didn't have your phone number and couldn't send you that picture to make my point, you might not have known. For anybody who's wondering, I'm going to put a picture on the screen right now of both logos, and just trust that this is a guy that I've known for I'm looking at this like I'm looking at the camera. The camera's here. Just trust that I've known this guy for over 2 decades, and I've got nothing but an immense amount of respect for the amount of work that he's put into this. He's gone in and he's put in, I'm not going to even mention some of the things he's had to go through to make his artwork what it is, but he's the one that created, he did, I don't have it with me right here, but he did. Oh yeah, I do. I remember when he was making stuff like this. All right. He was making CD covers for us back when we were in our early 20s and stuff. This was also made by those guys. And I don't know if he actually made this particular one. This might've been by the band, but this is what he did, their demo artwork and stuff. It was all hand silk screened. I got all my inspiration from him and Tim Armstrong. If you take his work and Tim Armstrong from Rancid and you mash them together, you get Knife Crime. I can't help it. That's what I like. I make what I like. If you don't like it, if you're offended by it, I can't do nothing for you, man. But
that's true. Because if you go back to what you said, if I had a choice to draw a comic book, I would choose to pull very, very hard from Steve Ditko's artwork.
You know, don't you
That's
think
just
if
a style I like.
I would draw it, it would look just like Todd McFarlane if I drew a
Yes, I
comic book.
do. Yeah. But
But dude, Spider-Man would have the big ass eyes, all the crazy webbing would be everywhere, and it would look like Spider Spawn. That's what it would look like. And then I would call it something stupid, and you'd be like, yeah, this is why you don't make comic books. And I'd be like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, this looks just like Todd McFarlane.
He's like, why is your name written in a long giant R?
That's great.
But yeah, man, look, these conversations are for nothing else other than entertainment, man. The horror genre is something that I love to a degree that I can't even hardly even explain it, man. I love it, man. It's the girls. So here's what I don't like about people, man. They look at horror and they go, look, all horror is a bunch of naked women and blah, 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 blah. Dude, we have a whole term for the girls. It's called final girls, man. What's wrong with that? And then I start hearing people say that the term final girl shouldn't be used. I'm like, get the fuck out of here, man.
What does that mean? What's final girls?
Do what?
What's final girls? What is that?
Oh, wow. So, okay. Jamie Lee Curtis is the final girl. She's the one that makes it out, dude.
Oh, okay. Got it.
She's the scream queen. She's the hero. The hero in horror movies are almost always women. So we have an inclusive genre, and people always look at it from the other end. They go, no, it's a bunch of half-naked women getting stabbed. Okay, no. There are some half-naked women that get stabbed, but there's also almost always the heroine. It's almost always a woman. All the good ones.
Yeah, that's an interesting. I never dove into why that would be for whatever reason.
Yeah, it's because, I mean, you know, a lot of times it's a person hunting down a sorority. Well, dude, look, back in the 70s and 80s, they wanted dudes to go watch these movies. What's the best way to do it? Now, am I saying that it's necessarily okay, right or wrong? Look, that's up to you to decide. I personally don't have a problem with it, okay? If you have a problem with it, don't watch the horror movies. That's what I try to tell folks. If you got a problem with this genre, why are you watching it?
It's funny, you just mentioned that. I'm in my head, all I'm doing is replaying the movies that we watched recently and trying to think that if any of those dudes were the final person, I'd be like, oh, this movie sucks.
I'm telling you.
It's true. I would have been so out of it if that dude with the glasses was the hero. Oh my God.
But for real. Well, man, this was an awesome conversation. So I got to ask you, dude, do you still feel the same about House of a Thousand Corpses?
No, I already felt better about it the second time I watched it anyway. I did. I think that whatever I was feeling when I was, so 2003, I would have been 24, 25. Whatever I was feeling, whatever place I was in right there, the thought that I was too good to watch movies where the main theme is just random people just getting killed for no reason.
Yeah.
I'm out of that place now, and I can look back and take myself. I used to, because I would watch that. And I haven't seen a movie that scared me ever, with, for some reason, the exception of Mothman Prophecies. Don't know why that movie scared me. That's a good movie, though. I don't know why. That to this day, I won't watch it. It's the only movie that's ever scared me. The
Poltergeist scared me when I was young. This rated PG.
But see, I didn't watch any. Well, God, I didn't know that. I didn't watch any scary movies. Like, I saw My Bloody Valentine at my grandfather's house when I was a kid. I was like, no, I'll never ever want to see this movie again. I don't care about it. It didn't scare me. I just it was just fucking gross. I just didn't like it. But now that I can look at it and be like, you know what, like, it was definitely entertaining. No doubt about it. And while the fact that I think it's not wholly original doesn't really take away from my enjoyment of the movie. The only thing that took away from it, and now that you explained the fact that it's a music video, like, that's genius, because I didn't think about that. But that's exactly
what it looks like
that I didn't like.
Yeah,
these random fucking cuts that just like. Oh, I do want to talk about. Oh, did you mention? No, that was in the remake.
What?
Walton Goggins. We didn't talk about Walton Goggins, who I absolutely love, but he was in the remake when we talked about it last, and we didn't bring it up.
Dude, I know what you're talking about now. Gotcha.
He's got his front teeth out, so he's got these big beautiful.
Yeah, he plays the trans chick in.
Oh, that I don't know.
Oh, you don't know about that?
What movie
Sons of Anarchy?
I never saw that. Sons of Anarchy.
Bro, he plays like a trans woman in it, and it's like convincing.
He's in Justified. He was in.
He's awesome, dude.
He's fucking incredible.
Look, I gotta ask this, man. Is he gay?
I have no idea.
Dude, because if he's not, that makes it even better. Because, bro, I love Walter Goggins. That guy's. Dude, I couldn't remember. I was like, why do I know that name? That guy's awesome.
Did you ever see Vice Principals on HBO?
I watched a little bit of it. That was funny. That has does it have
Danny McBride?
Danny McBride, yeah.
But dude, anyway, Walton Goggins in that remake, when he gets shot, or was it in A Thousand Corpses? I think. God damn it, was there two cops in House of a Thousand Corpses?
Yes.
Okay, so this is House of Remember when Walton Goggins comes in and Walton Goggins goes around back?
Wait, he's in House of Thousand Corpses?
Yeah.
Damn, hold on.
Yeah. It's House of a Thousand Corpses, because remember the main sheriff guy? He goes inside and he sits down with the lady of the house, and he's interviewing him and trying to find out what's going on. And Walton Goggins goes around back. Remember?
Damn, he is in that movie. Okay.
Remember, Walton Goggins goes around back, and he opens up the shed, and there's all the cheerleader girls just like hanging there, all fucking chopped up.
Oh yeah.
And then the dude is there, the white haired guy, and he's just like, he's got the gun, and he's just got him pointed, and he makes him get on his knees. I thought that was the best shot in the movie, because they're pulling out, and it's taking so fucking long to pull the trigger. I actually had gone through like a roller coaster of whether he was going to pull the trigger or not.
Dude, I love stuff like that.
Dude, that was the most, that one is the only shot in the whole movie that made me think, okay, you're being a little bit too harsh with this film critic comment, because that shot, like at first, like he's killed thousands of people or whatever the fuck. The movie's called House of a Thousand Corpses. This dude doesn't give a shit about killing anybody. So he's holding the trigger to this cop's head. You're like, all right, he's going to blow this cop's head off. But like, then he doesn't. And like, literal 8 seconds goes by and the camera's still being pulled out, and it's like, fucking shoot the guy, what's the problem? And then it goes so long, you're like, okay, now he's gonna shoot him, and then it still goes. I mean, it was like literally a 35-second pullout.
It's awesome.
And at the whole time, and then it finally at the very end, he fucking pulls the trigger, and I was just like, holy shit, that was actually suspenseful.
I liked there's a lot of parts in the movie I liked. Let's talk about that for a minute, because we really haven't talked about what we liked about the movie, really.
Right.
I really enjoyed, first off, Sid Haig, R.I.P. man. That guy,
much
legend.
respect.
He's hands down my favorite part of the movie, so I don't think that's news to anybody. I liked whenever they turned Rainn Wilson into the fish boy.
Yeah, what the fuck was that?
The guy was just a maniac, bro, doing
just
maniac
an artist.
shit. Yeah, just an artist out there creating beautiful things. But he shows it to his girlfriend, bro. I was like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, and also that was the only like really weird kill, right? The rest were just regular kills.
That was the only strange one, because they were like,
and that was the first one you see.
Well, they foreshadowed that. They talk about that happening earlier on in the movie.
Oh, really? I don't
talking about they want to have a fish boy.
No shit.
Yeah. And then so when they showed it, I was like, oh, dude, they actually made one. I liked the fact that, because there's a lot of funny stuff in the movie that there wasn't even a remote hint of comedy in Texas Chainsaw. But this one had, like, when they're doing like that little show and they're making them sit in the theater and watch them, and the grandpa's up there talking with all the food in his mouth, spitting food everywhere. Oh, so gross.
Yeah.
That guy looked like a wolf.
Yeah. Okay.
I thought for the whole first time I saw that movie, I thought he was gonna be a werewolf at the end, for sure.
No, I see that now.
What about Baby? Did you think that for 15 years, I thought that has to be the person that's cast to play Harley Quinn?
Dude, I didn't know. I saw her, and of course, somewhere in the back of my head, I thought that was his wife or something.
It is.
I didn't remember. Right. I'm saying like as I'm watching it again, I'm like, I think this is like his wife or something. But then when you go and you read, like, and then I had to go and like read about who she was, and the fact that she like left home and then went to Hollywood to try to become something, and then ended up being on all these music videos, and then turned out to be in Rob Zombie's music video, and then he marries her and puts her in this movie. And when you read that path, you're like, oh, this is going to be a disaster. I thought she was extremely serviceable in the job, in the role. Extremely serviceable.
A lot of people don't like her. I personally think it comes from jealousy. I hear a lot of stuff where I go, dude, you're being way too harsh. You couldn't reproduce a better product.
She had no acting chops. I mean, she was in some music videos, but like you said, that's all quick cuts. I mean, there's long scenes where this girl's doing dialogue and doing things. I'm sorry, dude. I'm not saying she deserves an Academy Award. I thought she did an absolutely adequate job in the role.
I'll tell you what, man. If you really think you want to see like her progression, you should go watch Lords of Salem.
Okay, that's also Zombie, obviously, right?
Yeah, she does all of his movies. She's even in the Halloween movies, which is where all the hate started from, is that she plays.
So she doesn't do anything but his movies?
To my understanding.
That's kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But she's probably not giving them many opportunities, and so she's going to take what she can get.
But that's weird. She didn't do a job to where you're like, oh, that's horrible. Like,
no,
absolutely
I think people are jealous and they're shitty, and I think that even in a genre full of awesomeness, we're going to have people that produce the movies that don't want to have anything to do with it, or just out of some kind of weird jealousy thing. But in Lords of Salem, I think she really brought her acting skills to a different level, man. I'm not a big fan of Rob Zombie's art, of his movies. I'll be honest, dude. The only ones I really like are House of a Thousand Corpses. I like Devil's Rejects, and I like Lords of Salem. I don't like his Halloween movies. I don't like 31.
What's 31?
It's the last movie in the trilogy of House of a Thousand Corpses.
Oh, I thought that's what you named your channel at, a Shop 31 after that movie.
Do what?
Shop 31?
No, it's directly named after that movie for sure. No, when that movie came out, I was livid.
Because that's your favorite number?
Yes, I was not happy with that because everything I do is related to 31. So I was like, fuck. I've actually been asked about that, dude.
No.
But people that know I'm a horror fan, yeah.
Wow. Was it terrible?
No, I just didn't really like it. It was like, first off, Sid Haig looks like he's dying in the movie because he's dying. So he looks absolutely horrible. But he wanted to do the film. Rob wanted to put him in there because they had become friends. So I understand the choice of doing it. I still don't think it was the right choice.
No.
But it had to have those characters in it. Plus, he has to die off early in the movie so he can go out and die in real life, and that makes the movie different, you know? Well, I mean, you know, being serious, like, that changes the movie. Like, he looks bad, dude. It's rough. When I first saw it, I was like, whoa! He's dude's like 40, 50 pounds lighter, bro. He looks incredibly weird, dude. He doesn't even look like the same guy.
What year was this movie, man? Like 3 years ago?
I don't know. 2016.
Okay, so 5 years ago.
Yeah. So, and it says 5 carnival workers are kidnapped the night before Halloween and held hostage in a large compound. At the mercy of their captors, they are forced to play a twisted game of life or death called 31. For the next 12 hours, they must fight for their lives against an endless parade of homicidal maniacs. That's pretty good rundown. But it doesn't have Bill Moseley's not in it, I don't think.
Right.
It's weird, man. Sherry Zombie's in it. Sid Haig's in it. Richard Drake is in it. He's a guy named Doomhead. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think it just kind of missed the mark. It didn't do well in the box office either. No. I'm tripping, dude. 31. I'm so stupid. 3 from Hell.
Yeah, 3 from Hell. I've heard that.
That's the one I'm talking about. I'm sorry, everybody. Okay. I'm an idiot. I'm glad I looked at this. 3 from Hell is what I was thinking of. 31 I haven't seen because I didn't like 3 from Hell.
So 31 is a Rob Zombie movie?
Yes, it's a different one. I haven't seen it because I didn't like 3 from Hell. Ooh, I'm glad I figured that out and cleared it up before the end of this video because I would get crucified in the comments.
No, they're already on there crucifying you right now. They didn't even watch the rest of your correction.
That's probably true, actually. Well, yeah, man, I'm glad that you were able to kind of figure out some things and enjoy it a little bit more. I really am.
I did. I like I said, I had a hatred for it, and now I certainly don't. I watched it. It was enjoyable. Still out of everything that I've watched, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, and then the VHS UFH Halloween special might be my favorite fucking things that I've seen.
Dude, that movie's glorious. They're making a sequel.
Really?
Yeah. It's supposed to be done like years later with the same film crew or something silly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
If they nail it, it's gonna be a classic. That movie's gotten cult status at this point.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's gotten enough buzz where they've had 2 different hard copy releases of it. Now they're small print runs, so they're expensive. They're like $50 to grab one, but I think I would be willing to pay that much to have one that I know I'm gonna like. But I got the guy that I became friends with. I need to get back in touch with him. The guy that played the priest.
Yeah. Have you guys been in contact still?
No, but most of these guys are cool. If you reach out every 6, 8, 12 months, they'll keep up with you and talk with you and stuff. Most of them are pretty awesome people.
Yeah, dude, that was one of my favorite parts of the movie for sure.
Yeah, dude.
The guy pissed himself. That was awesome.
You want to do Halloween in a couple weeks?
Yeah. The original, obviously.
Let's do. We usually pick 2 movies because it takes us a while to get to talking. So, you want to do the original and the 2018 remake?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's go.
Fuck yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so here's the thing. I would really like if we can get this one filmed before Halloween.
Okay.
So that gives us like. We can either go. Let's go for like just under 2 weeks. The 26th is a Tuesday.
Yeah.
That way I can have it drop on Halloween.
Yeah, sounds good.
26th, locking you in right now. Yeah.
Yeah, start time kind of similar to today, which would be great.
Yeah, that's why I said Tuesday, because now that I know that, I can start working on getting them doing around 4:35 my time, which makes it 5:36 your time, right?
Yeah.
Perfect, dude. Yeah.
Cool, man.
Excellent. I'm actually.
Well, this was fun, man.
Do what?
This was fun.
Yeah,
was really
dude.
good.
Well, now that we've gotten kind of a formula down, where the way you and I do it, it's way easier. Because the first couple we kind of just went off on like really long tangents for a while, but I do get positive feedback from all of our videos. It may not be a ton yet, but it is positive. So that's all that matters.
Good.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks for joining me tonight. Yeah, man. Good talking to you. I will see you next time. Everybody, thank you for watching. House of Thousand Corpses, bona fide modern classic. You still may not like it because it's very subjective. Take care of yourselves. Be kind to everyone else. We'll see you next time on Horror Hangout, the podcast. Peace.